we think of a CEO of a company, names like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett are the first to come to mind. These great entrepreneurs devoted their life's work towards operating a business and taking that risk, that leap of faith. Their innovations have sparked a world of change and have inspired so many to discover and fuel their intellectual curiosity. But what about the women who are just as successful as their male counterparts? Sheryl Sandberg, Safra Katz, Mary T. Barra, Indra Nooyi. Why are these not the names that come to mind when we picture a visionary leader? This is because there are so few women who work the front lines of companies, and so many of these female leaders are underrepresented in the world we live in today. History has shown us the early effects of gender roles that it has on our society. Men and women are expected to dress, behave, and present themselves in a certain way. Women are expected to be polite, accommodating, and nurturing, while men are expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. Women are expected to stay at home and help with the housework and childcare, while men are expected to go out and be the man or the provider of the house. Women are expected to sit quietly and are told not to stir the pot, while men are expected to go out and make the executive decisions of a household. People are often judged by how well they adhere to these stereotypes, no matter what the consequences may be. These stereotypes follow us into our adulthood and are evident in the disparities in the ratios of males to females in positions of leadership. Women have a hard time making it to the top in any profession, and the numbers represent this clearly. Women only make up 7% of top executive officers in Fortune 100 companies, and just 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs. In the corporate sector, C-level jobs, board seats, women make up just 15% of these positions, and these numbers have stayed roughly the same since the start of the 21st century. Even when women are able to make it to the top in their position, they are widely disrespected and undermined. A lot of these numbers can be justified by one thing: the glass ceiling. Anne Morrison describes the problem of the glass ceiling being a barrier so subtle that it's transparent, yet so powerful that it prevents women from reaching to the top of the corporate hierarchy. From their vantage point, women can see these high-paying positions, but are just often kept from reaching to the top. The term glass ceiling was popularized in the 1980s and was used in the 1984 novel, A Working Woman Report by Gay Bryant. It was then later used in a 1986 Wall Street Journal article on barriers to women in high-paying positions. But even though that was 34 years ago, it still rings true till this day. Although women have passed men in educational attainment, they are still widely underrepresented in top-paying jobs. Women now account for more than half of the educated workforce, yet their educational advantage has not led to a higher pay. Women still make 79 cents to every dollar a man makes. Throughout history, we have seen so many hardworking women who work to fearlessly break the gender stereotypes of their generation. Amelia Earhart, the first female aviator to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Coretta Scott King, one of the first female activists during the 1960s civil rights movement. Grace Hopper, one of the first female computer scientists of her time who worked to create programs for the world's first computer. But do these women get the recognition they deserve? Are their contributions to society held at the same esteem as those of their male counterparts? To put it quite simply, they are not. Women till this day are still not recognized for their work as entrepreneurs and leaders. We are taught from a young age, explicitly or not, that this is a man's world, that only men can achieve big things. Only men can hold positions of leadership. Only men can break records, invent technologies, fuel revolutions, be a catalyst for change. Look at our own government. We have never had a female president. only 24% of Congress is made up of women, and within that, only 9% are women of color. So how is it that in a country with an even ratio of males to females, we as women still have a quarter of the representation? I have always possessed the natural qualities of a leader and have rarely shied away from holding a leadership position in my community. I'm actively involved in a lot of different activities in the school, including student government, but I have not always seen the same enthusiasm from my female peers. They fear that they may be mislabeled or judged for asserting their dominance in a position of leadership. I myself have struggled with this and have been told that nobody would listen to me because I'm a girl, and boys don't like to listen to girls. Over the summer, I had the opportunity to attend the Young Women's Institute at the Kelley School of Business in Indiana University. Being surrounded by such industry professionals and educators really inspired me to challenge the issue that women face in powerful positions. Each woman had their own unique outlook and story to share about what it was like to be a woman in a position of power. One story in particular by Professor Bree Josephy really stood out to me. She worked to close mergers, deals, and acquisitions with the company of Deloitte, which required her to travel to a lot of different countries. While closing a deal with the steel company in New Delhi, she noticed there was not even a woman's bathroom in sight. When she proceeded to ask her colleagues about it, they said they had never had a woman step foot into that office. This shocked her as she had never seen a workplace, let alone any public place, that didn't have a woman's restroom. This story hits close to home for me because my family is originally from New Delhi, and even though it is considered a more progressive city in India, there is clearly a lot of work that needs to be done in order to achieve gender equality. There should never be a workplace, let alone any place in the world, that isn't inclusive to both men and women. But where does change start? I believe myself to be lucky. I grew up in a family where girls were never seen as anything less than boys. I was always encouraged to follow my dreams, break glass ceilings, do anything I wanted to the best of my ability, regardless of what society believed my role as a woman should be. Throughout my formative childhood years, I was surrounded by educators and mentors who never limited me because I was a girl. And that form of inadvertent feminism has made me the powerful and fearless leader I am today and will carry me to be unapologetic throughout my future. But not everyone has these same experiences that allow them to develop this courage or mindset. These experiences have taught me that change starts here and now. Societal standards are drilled within us at a young age, but if we work to break those stereotypes by learning, speaking up, and acting out, we can show young women there are plenty of female role models in the world to look up to. They will start to believe that they can break glass ceilings that has held us back as a gender for so many generations. Gender equality in the workplace starts with gender equality at home, in school, in extracurricular activities. Learning to embrace diverse role models and share the care work equally at a young age can help young women challenge the societal norms and gender stereotypes of a household. Young women should be taught to be brave and unapologetic, to take a stance for what they believe in, to take control in situations where they are competent to assert their authority and dominance. Women can achieve anything that men can as long as they have the confidence, guidance, and mentorship to do so. They should not live in fear of discrimination or belittlement because that is what exactly stops them from reaching their full potential. Gender equality in the workplace is not about shoving men aside to let women take over. It is about allowing women to pursue the same opportunities and giving them the same resources and financial compensations as their equal male counterparts. I believe we can fight the gender and wage gap instead of conforming to it. But in order to achieve that, we must start to instill these ideals from a foundational level, through education and awareness. I believe that one day we can live in a world where men and women are seen as equal if we continue to challenge our everyday beliefs and break the societal standards that come with gender norms. A world where young women are bold and fearless and seize every opportunity that comes their way. Thank you.